Providence Television International, the game changer, taking you to the outer limits of television.
Welcome to the program Issues in the News on Providence Television International. I am Ubebo Ikekwa. And with me in the studio is our regular guest, Dr. Emmanuel Igariva. You're welcome.
Well, I want to say thank you very much to our viewers at home and abroad, but my heart is heavy because in the recent past, we've lost so many people to bandits and to terrorists, even among the military. It's painful, it's tragic, and I believe that, yes, Nigeria can do a lot better than that. Many breadwinners have been lost, apparently, and I think it's our position to let people know that Nigeria is under siege. Yes. Exactly.
Someone actually asked me some few days ago that what's the difference if Nigeria is actually at war? Well, that I'm not in the place to answer that. Let us go down to the first story as regards issues in the news. Tinubu moves against terrorists after fresh military casualties in Borno State.
In Borno State?
Again.
Yes. The other day it was Plateau State.
Yes.
Okay? Who knows what state will be affected tomorrow. So it's a sequence, really. And a lot of Nigerians, I suppose, are tired of this. We move against terrorists, we move against bandits. What specific actions have been taken to take these people out? Because they are with us,
exactly.
Whether we like it or not. They're in our midst, okay? And they are doing these things with regular impunity, as if nothing can happen. I'm even surprised now that the United States, which offered to assist us, it's like they have moved out of the scenario almost completely. So we are left in the lurch. That's what it means. Is it that the military is overwhelmed or that we are using the wrong methodology? Okay, because I've often said on this program that we need to hype up our intelligence force or network so that before they strike, we are there before them. Okay, but it's after they have struck that we now begin to do all sorts of things. I mean, look at the other day, Brigadier General was taken out. Brigadier General Brahma. Yes, very painful, very painful indeed. And this was a high-profile commander. Okay, he was taken out by bandits or terrorists. So in a country such as this, we must begin to ask certain questions. Why is it that the bandits or whoever, they take out our military people with ease?
Exactly.
With ease.
In this very recent insurgents, a colonel was involved.
Exactly.
And six other. So it has not become a question who's actually in charge.
Exactly. And people say we must change the structure, the military structure, the defense structure,
yes,
as it were. And make no mistake about it, we're at war. Okay, I mean, war can come in many forms, really. You can have external aggression because of war within the country. And I think this is one of such occasions. I believe that, yes, the commander-in-chief can do more than he's doing now. And I say it with all sense of responsibility. We are having to lose our officers on a regular basis, and that is not good enough. It is practically not good enough. Because what is there for the civilians to look up to?
Exactly.
If military officers can be taken out with ease, they even go into military formations, into military facilities with impunity.
Yeah.
Is it that we don't have enough firepower? That's a question. Is it that our military is overwhelmed? Another question. Is it that the commanders are not doing enough? Okay. That's a question. Is it that not enough money is voted for this? That is $1 million question. And I believe that all of these things should come into a synthesis so that we can begin to look at things more appropriately.
I'm quite surprised that you didn't mention something. Could this be a case of sabotage? Because even the military as of today, they were denying that they do not bring in repentant terrorists into the army. But we've seen so many of them who have been repentant officers from the terrorist groups being recruited into the Nigerian army.
That makes me laugh, really. I mean, it's really very laughable. I mean, people who have killed, who have done all sorts of things, and you say they are going to be repentant. What is the measure of punishment that you give them? Because they've taken lives.
Yes.
Okay? Now you bring them, And they are not remorseful. I mean, as far as some of us know, they are not remorseful about what they have done. And you bring them into the military to unleash more mayhem and wreak more havoc. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up for a country such as this. And the question is, we saw the other day that I think about 500 or thereabout have been arraigned in the court of law. At the end of the day, the question is, it's not what have they done. Who are the sponsors? Who are their sponsors? I mean, there must be people who are behind them, who are making them feel so emboldened. Why don't you expose them? Why don't you name names? Okay? So that people will know that, yes, this guy is behind this guy is behind that, and then we'll come into an appropriate
Yeah, I really like this angle that you've taken, because just as at the time that about 380 of them were actually sentenced, there was one particular case about an individual who had vied for senatorial seat from the north, and he was a supplier of fuel to Boko Haram, a terrorist.
Yes.
And he was one of the individuals that was sentenced, I think, for 10 years. For 10 years imprisonment. If we can sort this out, do you think that could help? If such measures are taken against, yes, such sponsors, do you think that it will go a long way to help? Of
course, yes, because it will deter a lot of people from doing such things. And in any case, it should just go beyond just mere sentencing. I mean, the punishment should be harsher than that, really, so that people can say, yes, we won't go this way.
Okay.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that in this country we take a lot of things for granted. Okay. And I think that's one of the things America was looking at. Why do we treat them with kid gloves?
Okay.
For example, why do we treat them with kid gloves? I mean, if you say about 400 people were sentenced, did you name the sponsors? Yeah. During the court proceedings, was it known that certain people are behind it? Because in any case, Jonathan, former president, said, even within the presidency, there were people who were working for Boko Haram.
Exactly.
He said that, and that story has not been invalidated. Yes. So, what are we doing? Why are we giving them a soft landing?
Okay.
For instance. And I don't think that the killing people should be taken with kid gloves.
Exactly.
People are taking out lives.
It surprised me that some sentences ranged from between 2 to 3 years.
Just look at that.
And so would you advocate the death sentence as a minimum?
Even if it's not the death sentence. But giving them 2 years, 3 years, that doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all. Because you see, you serve 1 year, 2 years, you're out, you're back to where you were.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are back to where you were. Particularly when it is known that these people are doing what they are doing with so much impunity.
Yes.
Believing that some people are behind them. Okay? That's my argument. And I believe that, yes, why don't you take it a notch higher? I mean, in terms of punishment and punitive measures.
Okay. Well, we'll still come back to this issue of terrorism as long as it continues in Nigeria. In our next story, we have Chief Justice of Nigeria, Kudirat Kekereekun, warns judicial officers, says their actions are under public scrutiny.
That's a good one coming from my lordship. It's a good one. It's very encouraging. And I believe that, I'm sure she also knows that judiciary in all cases these days is under trial. Okay? And people are watching. They are watching very keenly for anything that goes to the court. And there are so many disparities. I mean, look at it. Courts working across purposes. I'm not saying that people should not have the right of appeal. I mean, that's allowed by law. But then it should be done in such a way that the judiciary is not brought into odium, into ridicule. Okay? And let the people, I think the onus lies on lordship, really, the CJN, that yes, the judicial officers are under public scrutiny. Yes, that's right. Because in this country, much earlier than this, we had judicial officers who were on top of their game. Till today, we still remember people like Justice Kayode Shaw, for instance, who was bold, was fearless. Yes, and that was even during the military regime. Right. You would think that they would be hemmed in or something, but these guys were fearless. Okay? How are we going to replicate? Kayode Shaw, for example.
Okay.
Yes. These were people who knew their onions very, very well. And they were highly respectable, okay? They were respectable in the society. Now, some judicial officers will give pronouncements, and people will say, oh, there they go again.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be at all. The judiciary is the last hope of the common man. It's almost something you mouth nearly every day. It's almost a cliche, but it's true. Yes, the judiciary is the last hope of the common man, because as they used to teach us in those days, what do you prefer, the court of law or the court of justice? Okay, it's the court of justice. The end of justice must be served by the courts. The end of justice must be served, and thoroughly. And I think that's what our Lordship is talking about, that we must watch speeches, we must watch people's perception, as per the judicial officers. That exactly is what she's talking about. And I believe that, yes, from now on, there will be a close watch on the judiciary. From within, not just even from outside, from within, because it can self-regulate some activities. Because if it doesn't, then you give the NJC, National Judicial Commission, more job to do. You hear these days that a judge is being sanctioned here, another judge is being sanctioned over there. They shouldn't be. I mean, these are things that should be heard less frequently.
Okay.
Yes, less frequently.
All right. And what's your take on legal practitioners delving into the activities of political parties?
Because they want money. It's bread and butter.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not saying, by any stretch of the imagination, I'm not saying that they shouldn't defend, for example, there could be litigants in an electoral process. People haven't say now that there should be a special court for electoral offenses. People are going to defend them. But there are some that are just blatantly obvious that legal personnel should not go into at all, okay? And I believe that, yes, that's where the NBA comes in. I saw something in the papers the other day, warning its members against certain idiosyncrasies and things like that. That's good, and it's coming from the NBA, all right? So, but yes, lawyers they are supposed to help the courts. They are friends of the courts. So they must help the courts to do things right.
Okay.
Even when they believe their courts are not doing it right, they are in a position to advise appropriately. Okay, that's where they are the friends in Temple of Justice. Okay, so and that's what it is really.
Okay.
Lawyers are supposed to advise appropriately, using the instrumentality of the NBA sometimes.
Okay, there are some schools of thought who have come out to say that the INEC, especially, are going around the law, or rather the tenets of the law, to subvert some certain things as regards the rights of political parties. Are you of this view?
I'm surprised, because even within INEC, you have lawyers. Yes, you have lawyers. We should be able to advise appropriately. In fact, in this case, it's even more ridiculous. You have the chairman of INEC who is a lawyer, is a professor of law, for example. So I should imagine that he should even be in a better position to say, no, this is wrong. Because he's a teacher of lawyers. Yes, a lot of lawyers in this country have gone through him, so you should know what is right. Don't allow, my advice really is that don't allow your inclination, we should be subdued, by the way, don't allow your inclination to overcloud the real intention of your brief or your profile. So, but in this country, anything goes. Why should the decision taken by INEC, headed by a professor of law, be a subject of argument in the law court? It's very funny. He's a professor of biochemistry or whatever. You can understand, but he's a professor of law. You know what the law says. Yes. You know what the law is talking about. I don't want to go into the ADC thing now because because the case is before the court. So, but I do know that there are certain decisions that ought not to be taken at all, at least from the legal point of view. Believing that, yes, the chairman of INEC knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, well, we wouldn't trash that issue. Just like my boss said, the ADC issue presently is in court. And for that reason, especially for some other reasons as regards some political parties, we wouldn't delve into that, but we actually promise that on the next edition of Issues in the News, we'll give you quite some updates as regards these issues that I mentioned. But then we'll now move down to the issue of electricity. Anytime I mention electricity, you don't feel happy at all.
No, I don't. And if I'm happy, then something is wrong somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we're going down on a daily basis. Okay? And what is the State Assembly talking about? You are giving them 4-month ultimatum.
Exactly.
In other words,
yes,
for 4 months, people are going to remain in darkness.
Let us see that story exactly. Edo
Yes.
State House of Assembly gives BEDC a 4-month ultimatum to improve power supply.
Does that not surprise you? 4 months.
Exactly.
Including they themselves.
Yeah.
Are they now saying that for 4 months they are going to be in darkness? I mean, you should give them marching order. But in any case, let's not localize it. It's the same problem all over the country, by the way. It's a problem with generation, with distribution, or with transmission.
Transmission.
For instance.
Yeah.
So, but generation is the key. How many megawatts are we talking about now? Maybe 4,000 for a population, a little over 4,000, for a population of 200 million. Somebody did a comparative analysis the other day. Small country like Rwanda, talking about thousands and thousands of megawatts for a small population. That's probably about 1/10 of what we have in Nigeria. So it's a big problem, and it's a national problem. I should think, therefore, that is the presidency that should declare a state of emergency in electricity supply, not the state government or not the State House of Assembly. Because they will tell you that what they are getting from national grid is small, so what are you going to do about it? Yeah, so it's like dancing around in circles. The thing should come from up above. That's my argument.
Yeah.
Yes, and these things should be decentralized. Let us give room for serious competition. I talked about this before. Like it's happening in the telecom industry. If you are not satisfied with A, you go to B. B is not satisfying you, you go to C. That kind of thing we are not seeing in the power sector, and I believe that it is awful. It's wrong, and it's totally unacceptable.
You were talking about such an order coming from the presidency, from high above. In a situation where we now have the presidency out of the national grid, how workable do you think this will be?
That is scandalous. It's very scandalous. A lot of Nigerians have talked about it. They are appalled by that, really. I mean, while we're talking about hiking up electricity supply, the presidency is moving out of the grid. What does that tell you? That you people are on your own.
Exactly.
Okay? So, but if a state of emergency is declared, and I think it is possible, declares, forget about all other things. Let us face electricity supply, because everything falls into it. Yes. Businesses will rise up, particularly small-scale enterprises. They will come up strongly if there is electricity. And meanwhile, people who don't have electricity, they want to use their generators. How do you buy fuel?
How do you get fuel?
So double dilemma. How do you buy fuel? I know a friend, for instance, who stays on Sapele Road. Let me localize this. He stays on Sapele Road in Benin, and he works at Ugbawo. He uses his car, but right now he has abandoned his car. Because he told me, and that is true, from Sapele Road to Ugbawo on a daily basis, he uses about 7,000 one way. 7,000 back. That's 14,000. Yes. So he goes on public transport.
Wow.
But the other side of it is, I thought by now we should be thinking of very effective public transport system. Highly subsidized. Yes, so that you can move freely. Look at England, look at all the Western countries. People leave their cars, they go on public transport. And there are many in this. You have buses, you have trams, you have tube, and all sorts of things. So you have alternatives.
Well, just before we go, this issue of electricity, BEDC, and whatever the national grid, it's really a troubling issue. So many businesses have actually gone out of business, as the case may be. But just before we go, as usual, the CEO has a parting shot.
Well, my parting shot is this, and it's very specific. 2027 is next year. Let's stop politicking, okay? There are so many national issues that are still burning issues. Let's forget about politicking. Let's tackle issues of security, of poverty, of the harsh economy, of fuel. These are issues of infrastructure, for instance. Let us talk about governance. 2027 will come, it will take care of itself. Let's not devote attention to 2027 for the electionary campaign. After all, there's a timetable. A lot of people are now talking about 2027, forgetting that there's still governance on the table. That's my take. And I believe that, yes, if we mean well for this country, 2027 for now shouldn't be on the burner at all. It shouldn't be. Let us face the issues of governance and let's make Nigerians a happy people again.
All right. Thank you so much. And for you, our viewer out there, I want to say thank you so much for being there. On this note, I want to say till the next edition of Issues in the News, I wish you a happy week ahead.